Good afternoon to all. So, in this video lecture, I am going to explain about four quadrant operation of DC drives. So, I will consider two motors here, like separately excited DC motor and DC series motor, and I will try to operate that particular machine in all the four quadrants. So, machine means it may be generator, it may be motor. So, depending upon in which quadrant it is operating, I can call it as a motor or I can call it as a generator. So since in case of this is the torque speed characteristics of a DC shunt motor. So where I can we have seen in the last video lecture that torque is directly proportional to current, right? And speed is directly proportional to back EMF because it is back EMF equal to phi Z NP divided by 60A. And if you avoid the armature resistance, the back EMF will be approximately equal to the terminal voltage. So now this is the torque speed curve. So now I want to represent this mechanical quantities like torque and speed in terms of electrical quantities like voltage and current. So now if you see the first quadrant, if you see the first quadrant, both voltage, which is on y-axis, and the current, which is on x-axis, both are positive, which means the power will be positive. It is a product of voltage and current. So now you can see since current is positive, let us assume that torque is it is in rotating in clockwise direction, right? Similarly, since voltage is positive, so let us assume that the speed which is rotating in clockwise direction. So in first quadrant, if you observe, both the torque and the speed, they are rotating in the same direction. So let us assume that since both are positive, so now the machine will behave like a motor. Now instead of simple motoring, I'm calling it as a forward motoring. I will tell you why I am calling it a forward motoring and reverse motoring, right? So if you see the second quadrant, so in second quadrant, uh, speed is positive, which means the terminal voltage is positive. But if you see the torque, which is proportional to the current, which is a negative one. So now if current is reversing, then I can say the torque is reversing, right? So that means the torque is in anti-clockwise direction, but if you see the speed it is in clockwise direction, right? So this is called a forward braking region. The second quadrant is also called a forward braking region. And if you see the third quadrant, in third quadrant, if you see both speed and torque both are negative, or in other words, voltage and current both are negative. So again, if you see the power is a product of voltage and current. Minus into minus, it will be plus. That means the machine is drawing power from the supply. So now the machine is behaving like a motor, and it is converting electrical power into the mechanical power. So even if you see in third quadrant, the machine is behaving like a motor, but it is rotating in reverse direction. So here you can see the torque and speed rotating in anti-clockwise direction. But if you see in case of first quadrant, the torque and speed they are rotating in anti-clockwise direction, right? So that is why here it is called a reverse motoring region. And if you see the fourth quadrant, where you can see the speed is negative and torque is positive, and which is exactly opposite to the second quadrant, right? So where you can see the speed is in clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction because the speed is negative here, and torque it is in clockwise direction because torque is positive here because armature current is positive. So now here you can see it is also behaving like a generator, or it is also here you can say braking operation is going to happen, but it is a reverse braking. So which is similar to the second quadrant, but it is in a reverse fashion. So I am calling it as a reverse braking. Okay, so this is about the four quadrant operation of DC motor drives. So our motto is to operate the DC machine, right, in all the four quadrants. So let us see. Uh, if you conclude from the last slide that if the motor is rotating in clockwise direction, its operation is in first and second quadrant. And with the rotation in anti-clockwise direction, the operation it is in second and third and fourth quadrant, right? And if you see, the last slide, in first and third quadrant, both torque and speed, they are in same direction. And the electrical machine is operating as a motor. So in first quadrant is operating in forward motoring, in the third quadrant is operating as a reverse motoring. And if you see in the second quadrant and fourth quadrant, torque is opposite to the motion. That is called electrical braking, right? So when operating in second and fourth quadrant, the machine is operating as a generator. That is what I have mentioned in the last slide, which is converting the mechanical energy into electrical energy, right? So in braking, the machine can work as a generator, developing a negative torque, which oppose the motion, right? So there are three types of brakings are there, like three types of electrical braking, right? One is the dynamic braking, which is also called as rheostatic braking. Second one is plugging, reverse voltage braking. Third one is regenerative braking. We will see each of them in detail, right? So if you want to have more idea about this electrical brakings of DC drives, you can go through, you can refer this Fundamentals of Electric Drives by Dr. G.K. Dubey textbook. Right? So now we'll discuss one by one. So first we'll discuss about dynamic braking or rheostatic braking. The name itself suggesting that the power is wasted in the rheostat. So the kinetic energy stored in the armature of a DC machine is being wasted in the external resistance. That is what called dynamic braking. So in this type of braking, the supply to the armature terminal is disconnected. We will disconnect the armature terminal, and we will connect the same armature terminal to the external resistance, right? That means whenever the machine is rotating, it is having some kinetic energy in it, and that kinetic energy is being dissipated in the form of heat in the external resistance. So now we will see this rheostatic braking in case of separate excited DC motor as well as DC series motor, right? So now if you see, if you don't have this external resistance, let us assume it is you are not having this external resistance RB, then it is just like a separate excited DC motor where the field winding is connected to a separate DC source, the armature winding is connected to VDC positive and negative terminal, right? So now in case of dynamic braking, we will disconnect the armature terminal and we will connect it to some external resistance RB. Okay, so first we'll see when the DPST switch, double pole double throw switch, is connected to position number 1. Now this machine will behave like a separately excited DC motor, right? So and you know the armature is connected to plus VDC and VDC with plus and minus polarity, and the field winding is connected to some different source, right? And this machine is having some internal resistance in it, internal inductance also it has, right? So we'll see the equivalent circuit when the DPST switch is connected to position number 1. Now here you can see the electrical equivalent circuit when the separate excited DC motor terminal are connected to DC source, right? Here you can see the VDC with positive and negative plates, right? And this is the electrical equivalent circuit of a DC motor in running condition. So in running condition, we'll be having some back EMF. So where RA is the armature resistance, LA is the armature inductance, and EG is the back EMF, right? So when the machinery is in rest condition, you don't find any speed, and because of zero speed, you don't find any EG here, right? So this is the electrical equivalent circuit during motoring operation. Now, since the armature is connected to the external DC source, it is having, it will draw some certain amount of current from the source, and you can see the direction of current here, which is the armature current, right? Now you can apply KVL in this loop. That is, the applied voltage will be equal to drop across this resistance, ERA, drop across the inductance, LA dA by dt, and the battery voltage. right? So these are the instantaneous voltage expression where IA is the instantaneous current and EG is the instantaneous back EMF, right? Now, if you want to write the average voltage expression, then the average voltage across the inductor should goes to 0. So VD is equal to IARA plus EG. Okay, and from this one you can write IA, which is armature current, in terms of VDC minus EG divided by RE, where RE is the armature resistance, and for a designed machine is a constant, right? So the current, the current always flows from higher potential to lower potential. So the VDC at higher potential now. So that is why you will get the current polarity as positive, right? If the current polarity is positive, we know the expression for torque in case of separate excited DC motor. Torque equal to KFI into IE. Since phi flux is constant because the field winding is connected to separate DC source, and we are not varying that DC voltage. So if DC voltage which is provided to the field winding is constant, the field current will be constant. The field current is constant, field flux is also constant. So we are not varying this flux here. So these two factors are constant, which are positive, and the torque rotation is depends upon the magnitude of polarity of this current IE, right? So since current is positive here, so you'll get the torque is positive, right? So you can see the torque speed characteristics when the DPST switch is in position number 1. So now you can see these are torque speed characteristics during motor operation, and there is a little bit decrement in the speed because when you increase the load, IERA drop increases, which will result in some little decrement in the speed. This drop is called IERA drop basically. So drop due to armature resistance. IERA drop. Okay. Now our motto is to operate the machine in second quadrant. Now we are applying some braking to the motor, and braking happens when when you move the DPST switch to position number 2, right? So that means during running condition, that means when the switch is in position number 1, this motor armature is having some kinetic energy in it, so it has some energy in it, right? So that energy is being losted in the external resistance when I move the switch to position number 2, right? So that is what we are going to see here. So if I move the switch to position number 2, now you can see the electrical equivalent circuit. Now instead of battery, where we have connected the armature terminal A and A in position number 1, now instead of you will be having some external resistors. Now position is connected, switch is moved to position number 2. Okay, so you can find the external resistance here. So as I told you, the motor is still rotating, right? So it is having some back EMF in it. Okay. Now if you see the electrical equivalent circuit, for this circuit, the source is the battery, back EMF, which is there in the armature terminal. So now the current will flow because of this back EMF. So now the current, you can say, is the direction of current. So previously the current is flowing like this from A to A. It is drawing power from the supply. Now you can see the current is changing. The direction of current is getting changed. So now you can see the current is flowing through the to the external resistance RB. So now it is from top to bottom instead of bottom to top. Okay, now you just apply the KVL. So you know the KVL, the drop across all the elements in a closed loop should be equal to 0. That is what you can see the KVL here. Okay, so drop due to IARA, drop due to IARB, drop due to this inductor and the back EMF, right? This is the instantaneous voltage. Now the average output voltage equations, I can see here when I make the average voltage across inductor equal to 0. Okay, so from this one I can write the equation for the armature current, so which is minus EG divided by RA plus RB. So now there is a some increment in the net resistance. So if net resistance, that is there's an increment in the denominator. So what happens? There's a decrement in the armature current, right? And you see the polarity of the armature current, which is a negative now. Okay. Now if the armature current is negative, what happens to the torque? Torque is also will get negative. because torque is the product of K into I, where IA equal to minus IA. So you can say the torque is getting reversed. So at the moment you shift the DPST switch from position number to position number two, position number one to position number two, the current is getting reversed, which will reverse the torque and which will reverse its motion also. Right now, you can see the torque speed characteristics during this rheostatic braking. So in the previous slide, we are at this particular point. Now, when I move, this is in position number one. So when I move the DPST switch to position number two, there is a sudden decrement in the speed, and it will shift to this particular point, right? And depending upon this value of this resistance, the energy which is there in the armature of the DC motor, which is called kinetic energy, is dissipated. That depends upon the value of this external resistance RB. Now, if you see, now if the value of resistance is high, it will take more time to discharge its energy. So if I keep on reduce the value of this external resistance, then it will take less time to discharge its energy completely, and finally it will become zero. Now we are moving from position number one to position number two, and whatever energy is there in the armature of the DC motor, and that is being wasted as a heat in the external resistance. And at particular time, the speed will goes to zero, and even torque will become zero. Right. So this is about dynamic braking of separate excited DC motor. Now we'll replace the DC motor, separate excited DC motor with the DC series motor. Right. So now you can see this is the same dynamic braking that is called rheostatic braking. We are going to apply for the DC series motor. Now you can see in case of, as you all know that in case of series motor, the field and the armature, they should be connected in series. Okay. So now let us consider for this equivalent circuit. So our motto is to move the machine from first quadrant to second quadrant, right? So when I apply the braking, the machine which is working as a motor, now that will behave like a generator, and at particular point, the kinetic energy has to be dissipated in the external resistance, right? So now what happens? Now if I say if I connect a DT switch to position number one, right? So now you can see the current is flowing like this. So what is torque in case of DC series motor? Torque equal to, torque is directly proportional to some constant K into IF into I. Generally, in case of DC series motor, is square of the current, square of the armature current, when both the series, both the windings, they are connected in series, like this, right? So instead of a field current equal to armature current, because they are in same, right? Just I am writing IF into IA, right? So now what happens when I connect the DPDT switch to position number one, both current, this field current is flowing from F to FF, armature current is also flowing from A to AA. So let us assume that the polarity is positive, right? So what happens? Torque will become positive. So plus into plus, it will become positive. So no doubt the machine will operate as a motor which is in first quadrant whenever it is connected to position number one. Now let us move on to the position number two. So when I move on to the position number two, what happens? So now I want to dissipate the kinetic energy in the external resistance while I apply the braking, right? So if the connection is like this, so if I suddenly apply the brake, and the braking means DPDT switch is moved to position number two. Now due to presence of this kinetic energy, it will be having some back EMF in it, and it will supply the current to the external load like this. So now see the direction of current, that the direction of current is getting interchanged, no doubt. But if you see the field current as well as armature current, so here both field current is negative. Here you can see field current is negative, armature current is also negative. So the negative into the negative, again that will become positive. So even if you apply the braking in this machine, so the machine won't goes to off, and it won't provide the kinetic energy to the external resistance, right? So still the machine will operate in first quadrant only, but it will take long time to dissipate its energy, and the machine will still operate in first quadrant because the torque is positive, speed will be positive because the speed is depends upon the back EMF. Back EMF will be positive here, right? So uh, the machine won't move to position number two. Sorry, in second quadrant. Now, in order to achieve that one, what we are doing, either we need to uh, uh, reverse the field current or the armature current, but not both, right? So to achieve that one, we are going for some different configuration where I have used some what is called a diode bridge. So here you can see, so to operate the machine in first quadrant and second quadrant, uh, this configuration we used, which is called, here you can see the diode bridge. Now the purpose of this diode bridge is to maintain the field current in only one direction, that is from F to FF. So we'll change the direction of armature current and apply the braking, but with the help of these four diodes, the current in the field winding is always from F to FF. So let us go for the first quadrant. In first quadrant, the machine armature terminal, you can see this armature terminal is connected to position number one. Okay, so if that is the case, what is happening? Now, current always leaves from positive terminal, it is leaving from positive dp/dt. Now, the current will take the path from diode D1 because D1 diodes are unidirectional device and they will allow the current from anode to cathode. So it will take the path to D1 and the field current, field winding FF and through G2 and the armature like this. There is a closed path for the current to flow, right? And you can see the direction of current is from direction of current in the armature is from A to AA, whereas the current direction the field winding is from F to FF. So let us assume if this is the case, the current direction is positive and the current direction is positive, right? So you will get torque positive and the machine will operate in first quadrant, right? The machine will operate in first quadrant, and let us see the speed torque characteristics of a DC series motor. Okay, so this is a electrical equivalent circuit. Now you can see. Now the dp/dt switch is moved to position number one, and where D1, D2 will conduct, right? And you can apply the KVL in this loop. If I apply KVL, the applied voltage is equal to the drop across the what is called armature winding, and it will have some internal resistance RA, and field winding is having some internal resistance RF. So where you can see RA1 is the resistance offered by the armature winding as well as field winding, right? So a drop due to this RA and RF, you can see IA, RA1, and the drop to the inductance, again you can see LA1. LA1 is the total inductance offered by the armature winding and the inductance offered by the field winding, right? You can see this one, right? And the back EMF. So this is the instantaneous voltage, if you see for the circuit, right? Similarly, to get average output voltage, we make sure that the average voltage plus inductor will goes to 0. So there is no term associated with this inductance, right? So VD is equal to IA RA1 plus EG. So from this one, you can write IA, the armature current, VDC minus EG divided by RA. And the current will flow from higher potential to lower potential. So when compared to the back EMF, the battery voltage will be more. And if that is the case, the armature current will be positive. So if the armature current is positive, the torque will also positive, because torque in case of DC series motor is KA phi into IA, where phi is due to the field current. So instead of phi, I can write IF. So the total torque will be KA IF into IA, and both current and the both field current as well as armature current both are positive. That is why I will get the torque as positive, and which will uh, give the torque speed characteristics like this. So here we'll get a rectangular hyperbola, and here the machine is operating first quadrant, which is the machine behave like a motor, and it is called now it is called as a forward motor. So you can see the rectangular hyperbola, the torque speed characteristic of a DC series motor, right? So now our motor is to move uh, the machine from first quadrant to second quadrant. So to achieve that, what we need to do? We need to achieve the negative torque. So to achieve the negative torque, either the field current should be negative or the armature current should be negative, but not both. So now, with the help of this diode bridge configuration, diode bridge, we are reversing the armature current, not the field current. So we are maintaining the field current always from F to FF. So let us go on to the next slide, where the switch is moved to position number 2, right? So this is the case when the switch is moved to position number 2. So now the armature current is disconnected and it is connected to the external resistance RB. Now the source for this circuit is the back EMF, the energy stored in the armature of the DC motor. So that is the back EMF, and if you see the back EMF, it will be the polarity. The polarity will be like this. The current always leaves from positive terminal, and you can see the direction of current. I will represent with some green color. It is flowing through this armature, right? The current won't flow through D2 because it is a cathode. So diode is an uncontrolled device, and it will allow the current from anode to cathode. That is why it is flowing through diode D3. And see the current in field winding is from F to FF and through D4, right? And back to DPS, DPDT switch and the external resistance like this. So this is the direction of current you can see. So now the current in the armature winding is from FA to AA. I can call it as a negative, because when the current is from A to AA, it is positive. Now instead of A to AA, the current is from AA to A, so which is negative. And if you see the current in the field winding, it is from F to FF, it's the same as the previous case. So we are not changing the direction of field current. With the help of this diode bridge, we are maintaining the field current is always from F to FF, right? So what is the torque expression? We just apply the KVL, right? So this will be the expression for KVL, and the average output voltage will be something like this. Okay, from this one I can write the armature current I equal to minus Eg divided by RA1 plus RB. So you can see RB is the external resistance which is inserted here. Okay, so now, and due to this negative voltage, the armature current will be negative. But if you see the direction of field current, it is always from F to FF. So now what is torque? Torque is, it is a product of the field current and armature current. Now if you see the expression for torque, so which is field product of field current and armature current. Since the field current is positive because the current in the field winding is from F to FF, and armature current is negative because the current in the field armature winding is from A to A to A. That is why we'll get the torque is negative, which means the machine is moving from first quadrant to second quadrant, and it will start following the torque speed characteristics like this. Okay, after some time, the kinetic energy which is there inside this armature of the DC motor, right, will be dissipated completely to this external resistance, and you will get a zero speed and zero torque here. So even by varying different values of the external resistance RB, you will get the speed to 0, and the time duration will be different, right? So that depends upon the energy stored in the armature of the DC. So with this, we'll stop here, and in the next slide, I will discuss about the reverse voltage breaking. Thank you.